You are entering the cosmos.
All right, cadets, welcome to another edition of General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. And we definitely have the biggest of all monsters we're going to be talking about on the show tonight. Of course, Godzilla. This shirt was given to me by a fan, by the way. His name is Roland. Anyway, thank you, Roland Pruitt, for sending me the shirt for the show. We have a special guest on our show. Whenever we talk about Godzilla or Toho or kaiju, we try to invite our good friend, Unite Godzilla fans from Instagram. So let's bring him up. Major Millie Hazard is around, but she's on special assignment, so she can't show herself. Can you, Hazard?
No, I can't. And thank you so much, General, for saying that, the big monster game is a very important game. We're the last defense. The people depend on us. So my location has to be undisclosed right now, but that's okay. We got Unite Godzilla fans here. We got an amazing show. The cadets are filing in. I think we're going to be okay.
Yes, indeed. He's giving me the salute here.
Thank you very much.
And I'm saluting to you as well.
Thank you.
So thank you, Major Hazard, for being here and for all the secret work that you do behind the scenes.
Thank you, General.
Okay, Unite Godzilla fans, you are in your usual spot when you come to visit us in your car.
But this time, because
uh-oh.
Amazing.
The Wi-Fi is a little spotty.
Yeah, it might be, but it'll be.
You think it'll even out? It'll level out? You could try going out and coming back in again. But in any case, okay. Are you driving? Are you actually driving when you're on the show?
Possibly.
That's dangerous.
Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm hoping you're driving to a good, safe spot, and it won't be a long drive. We're going to talk about Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Woo!
The 1991 version. Yes. This was not the first time that Godzilla had fought Ghidorah. He had fought it 3 times before, actually 4 times before then, in the Showa series, starting with Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster. And then Monster Zero, Invasion of the Astro Monster. Then again in Destroy All Monsters, where Ghidorah came back at the end. And then again with Gigan, Godzilla versus Gigan.
Yeah.
So Ghidorah's, and actually another time, I don't think Godzilla was there, but he fought Zone Fighter.
Yeah,
on a TV show.
Wasn't Godzilla in that one? That's with Gigan too.
Was he?
I thought he was.
I know that Gigan made an appearance, Ghidorah made an appearance, and Godzilla made several appearances on that show.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot.
But I think they all came on separately to just kind of promote the show.
Fair enough.
So anyway, in any case, the Showa series was over. They brought back the Godzilla 10 years later with the Heisa. Heisa? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I say Heisei. People say
Heisei.
Don't quote me on that one. It might be wrong too. I don't know.
I like it.
I think it flows off the tongue. It's like Heisei.
Heisei. Heisei. Yeah, I like it. It works for me.
Awesome. I like it. Good.
But yeah, I always said hindsight. I don't know. It's kind of like hindsight.
You know? All right. I dig that. I dig that.
So in any case, this was the second series of Godzilla films that were done. Actually started in 1985 with Godzilla Returns, Godzilla 1985 in America. And then it went on to Biollante. And then this one, which was the Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Yep.
And kids today know who King Ghidorah is because he was in Godzilla King of the Monsters just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So they were all introduced to him. So yeah, you're in for a treat because we're going to show you not only King Ghidorah, but Mecha-King Ghidorah is in this one as well.
Love it. Love it.
So yes. So this is a Toho film that was released in America by TriStar. We got to give credit where credit is due here.
Yeah, I guess.
And it starts in the year 2204.
Yeah, this one was a little bit of a tough one. And I mean, especially if you talk to a lot of the fans of this film, the timeline is just you gotta watch it a couple of times to understand, because it does cut out a lot of movies, like a lot of movies. We're talking, and not that Toho has the greatest continuity in their series and whatnot. But this one was a bit of a jump, but so enjoyable.
Yes, the time travel aspect of it was a little weird, but yes. So there's a submarine moving through the ocean off the coast of Japan, and there is the body of King Ghidorah underwater. At least 2 of his heads out of the 3. And Emmy Gano from the future says, "Oh yes, King Ghidorah fought Godzilla back in 1991." Or actually, I think the film takes place in 1992, which only gave him 1 year to catch up to speed. So there's the nice computer graphic. This is supposed to be in the future, but the computer graphics are very 1991, 92.
It's like the Jetsons. They still clock in with punch cards.
and the giant mobile phones at home.
Yes.
We'll see a couple of those in the photos. Even Shindo, the major businessman, has one of those big gigantic phones that looks like a military phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the title card: Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
I love this intro. When I first saw it, this got me so excited. I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be massive."
So, and this was followed by Godzilla versus Queen Mothra, the Battle for the Planet, or something like that. It was a huge, long title, anyway. But it was the only time that I know of that they called her Queen Mothra. So now we say 1992 AD, which probably made the audience laugh because it was 1991 when it came out. And there's a flying saucer of some sorts flying across Japan, and it's noticed by Miki Saigusa.
Yeah, she is.
So yeah, she was played by actress Megumi Odaka, and she was in every one of the Heisei Godzilla films, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
As this character, who is she has psychic powers. She can sense when Godzilla is around,
which played a big part in Godzilla vs. Biolante.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. I take that back. She was not in Godzilla 1985, was she? The Return of Godzilla.
Yeah. Okay. But I'll give you a little side thing. So 84 wasn't actually a Heisei movie at first. It was actually considered a Showa film to really mark the end of Godzilla because he falls into the volcano.
Okay, we didn't get this Godzilla until Biolante.
Right. So and then when he comes out in 89, and then just the logic behind 84 being Showa and not Heisei, they were like, okay, let's just make it Heisei. So you were okay. I'll give you
okay.
that. Well,
again, she's in most of them.
Yeah, there you go.
as this character. Now this guy, Terasawa, which sounds a lot like Sarazawa, and Kenshiro is his first name.
Mm-hmm.
Kosuke Toyohara. He's writing books about dinosaurs. And he wants to talk to a guy who claims he saw a dinosaur on Lagos Island during World War II. So he goes and he interviews him. And the guy tells the story of what happened. And later he finds out that big businessman in Japan, Shindo, was their leader
Mm-hmm.
during that last hold on that island, that Lagos Island, at the end of the war. And they saw a dinosaur.
I saw a dinosaur.
That's right. So the military and the prime ministers and everything are worried about this flying saucer. They don't know what to make of it. Nobody's given any communication. It's just kind of landed. And not really said much.
What? I would love to see something like that happen though in real time. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Love aliens.
So the military sent out there to the tanks and stuff are sent out there to welcome them.
And
So there it is out in the field. And again, yeah, they send tanks and military personnel and stuff out there to surround the darn thing. I'd feel welcome. I don't know about you, but I'd feel welcome.
I would feel very welcome.
Okay. Flying saucer. Okay, now the guy on the left, and there she is, Miss Sagusa on the right. She's part of this because, again, she's a psychic who knows about Godzilla and can sense when Godzilla's around. So, of course, they call her in because they're hoping that she can sense something that's going on in the spaceship, I guess. But the guy on the left is actually a Kenji Sahara, an actor who's in a lot of the Showa Godzilla films back in the 60s.
Yes, sir. Legend.
And I believe he's still alive, isn't he?
I have to look that I'm really bad at. I don't know who's alive and who's passed away. Like I can't.
Yeah, Akira Takarada we just lost early this year.
Yes, we did.
Who was the other guy that was in like a zillion of the Godzilla films?
First one, the first of the first.
Correct. Now the guy on the right here was in a few of the Godzilla movies from the 70s.
Yes.
He's Professor Nozaki. He's played by Katsuhiko Sasaki. I hope I said that right. And he was in Godzilla vs. Megalon as the inventor, and he was also in Terror of Mecha Godzilla as the guy that falls in love with the robot. Robot girl.
Good old robots. Gotta love them.
So again, everything comes to he finds out that Shindo was the commander of that outfit in Lagos Island, and he goes to see him and says, I think that the Godzilla that we know today was that dinosaur, but he was mutated. And Shindo's given him the shaft up to that point, but then he gives him a couple of pictures showing the dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
So he's happy he's going to be able to write his book about it.
Friends helping friends.
There he is. There's the dinosaur downed in front of the squad. Now, I don't know who took the picture.
Right? I kind of want
because they're all supposed to be saluting him down there anyway. Maybe it was the time travelers. He sent it to Shindo. Hey,
the Dorats did it.
Dude looks like Elvis. Thank you. I get that a lot. And there's the dinosaur on the attack. Again, someone had the forethought to take a nice black and white shot of the thing with an Instagram.
They forgot the hashtags, damn it.
But this is actually known as the Godzillasaurus. Am I right?
Yes.
That's the name of this actual monster, the Godzillasaurus in the kaiju world. It's one of the only figures I don't have in the case back here. I still need a Godzillasaurus.
You could find a figure for very cheap. It's not expensive.
Yeah, they cost about $70-$80 on eBay.
Yeah, well, that's eBay. No. I'll find one good for you.
All right, thank you much. Always need that for my office here. Okay, so there's the military surrounding the mushroom.
The mushroom.
That's what it looks like. Look at it.
The phallic-like object once again. Thanks, Toho.
The giant penis. So a green beam comes down, and some guys from the future, including Emi Kano and Grenchico. Hey, boss, we're going to take a Godzilla out. And Chuck Wilson, who is played by actor Chuck Wilson. I kid you not. And they pull the old fake hologram hand gag on the prime ministers.
Oh God, the cheesiness was amazing in Heisei too.
So I kid you not, I got to slide in it right up here. Coming up in a second.
I got. Oh my God, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie too.
He's like, well, we know we'd like to shake your hands, but we're in the ship. Oh,
Like, oh,
gotcha. We're holograms. We're inside the ship. You know, you guys brought tanks, so you know we're kind of scared. So they said, if you tell us where to go to meet your leaders, and again, take me to your leader. We're from the future. We're not aliens, we promise, but take me to your leader. We will explain everything, and we'll be there on time. Don't worry. So, and Conchico, I like their jackets that are supposed to be from the future. They got giant lapels.
It's like
go ahead.
Color, like Jesus, like how matte color can you get with those suits? Jesus.
Purple jacket, green jacket.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so they meet at a local school close by. That's what it looks like. University.
Supposed to be the government center, right? Wasn't it?
That's supposed to be a government center. I don't know. I just know they got a grandfather clock coming up in the next shot.
Random clock. There it is.
There it is. And the little mini ship, which is kind of like the I don't know if you remember 20,000 Leagues, or not 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, A Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. They used to have a flying sub that used to come out the bottom of the ship and go up in the air. This is kind of like that, actually. So, and they've ripped off Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea before in King Kong Escapes as well. Even calling the guy Admiral Nelson, which was the main character on that show. Anyway, I digress. They fly out of the ship. In that mini ship, there is a teleporter. They have a teleporter that will teleport anything to anywhere. And there they are. They're arriving at the meeting. And the guys are impressed. Now, I don't know if you can see him in the middle there, but the actual prime minister in the film, this was his last movie role. He did some TV after this, but this was his last movie role. So Yamamura. And he is best known in America for being the guy that is at the end of the movie Gung Ho with Michael Keaton. And he has the great line where he looks very deadpan, looks Michael Keaton right in the face and says, "You'll make me rough." 50,000 cars. So anyway, that's him. This is his last movie role. He played the prime minister in this. Gung Ho was a couple of years before this. There's Lorraine. Welcome to the show. So they tell the council here, the people from the ministers, the different ministers and the prime minister that Godzilla is going to return and he's going to destroy Tokyo. And they came from the future so that they could take Godzilla out by finding that dinosaur that we were talking about on Lagos Island, who is Godzilla. The guy was right. Kichiro was right. And taking him off that island before he's exposed to atomic radiation.
Yep.
And they move him to somewhere else in the ocean.
To where there is radiation.
So they call up, they got the book that Kichiro wrote. They got a copy of it. It's a little dog-eared. And they called Kichiro, look at that phone. Good God Almighty. And they called him in and said, we want you to be part of the team that's going to go back in time and move Godzilla. And you'll be going with Emi Kano and Miki Sagusa. But first, you need to go aboard the spaceship and meet everybody there.
Gotta say hi to the aliens.
So there you go. So they'll explain what you're supposed to do. So they go aboard the ship. And you would think back at this time they would have better special effects than Doctor Who. But that's it. Piss off all the Doctor Who fans. But there it is. The beam of light, and they just whoop, bring them up into the ship, and their feet are cut off. So up they go. And they meet with Wilson and Krachenko, and they meet a robot who is named Android M11. And he's played by Robert Scott Field, who is a convention whore, that man. I hear he's a fan favorite. He goes to a lot of the conventions.
Yeah, he does. I think we're supposed to have him at a G-Fest, but I think something happened to him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think actually. Wait,
there he
no,
is.
never mind. I don't remember. Oh, look at that! Look at that jacket. It's so buff. He's so buff.
With the big shoulders. Yeah. Well, he's actually kind of tall and thin for a Terminator type, and that's what they were actually going for here. They wanted a Terminator type.
Yep.
But I think he's tall, is what it is. He's very tall, so he got the role. And it's funny that a robot in the future would have a receding hairline, but there it is. I
never thought of that. Oh my god.
Got a huge cranium with a receding hairline.
He does. His head is enormous. He's got a 5 head.
And again, you'll see that in pictures, close-up pictures in a little bit. But I'm right.
Zoom in.
Again, people make the joke about Picard being bald, in the future, and you would think that we could have figured that problem out by then. But anyway, a lot of girls like that.
Yeah, listen, now there it is.
Look at that proboscis, boy! Good God, that cranium is huge.
I want to smack it multiple times.
But I love that self-serving smile. That's confidence right there.
It is. He knows God, and he wins it with the ladies.
That's a confident robot.
He gets the ladies.
Staying power. All right, so then we get aboard the ship that's going to go back in time, and we meet the Durats. Dorats.
I call it Dorats. People say Durats. I feel like you can kind of pick and choose.
I think it's Dorats. That's my feeling too. And they're kind of creepy.
Yeah. I thought they were kind of cute. I was like, I want one as a pet.
I mean, it's cute, like a little vampire bat cute, I wouldn't turn my back on one, Look at those fangs.
Yeah, that one, you might have a bad.
Yeah, so little green-haired bastards are flying around all over the ship. And yeah, they're supposed to be cute, but they're just creepy to me. So, okay, they go back in time to 1944. In the, I think it was 1944. Yes, February 6, 1944. And it's a nice little psychedelic scene where they
you kind of go through a nice black hole or something like that,
Oh my God, you're still driving.
Almost home. Don't worry, Major. I'm good.
Man.
Listen, when you're a guy like me, you gotta talk on the go. You gotta talk on the go.
You're busy man. Busy man.
Busy man.
Busy man in an accident.
No, we're good. This is all.
Then we get the scene, the little comedy scene where they see the flying shooting star, and the guy says, "Shouldn't we report this, sir?" And the commander says, "You can tell your kid about it someday, Corporal Spielberg." Or
was a nod to Steven Spielberg because his father, I want to say, was in World War One.
World War II.
World War II. I hate history. I'm sorry. But yes, his father served in the war, so that's why they did it. They did it to pay homage to him, which is really nice.
It was a gag. Come on.
I thought it was cool. I didn't know about that. I was like, oh, sense now.
They were just poking fun of the fact that Spielberg and aliens and all that mess. Anyway, let's call it gag a gag here. Anyway, so M11 goes outside during the war. There's bombs going off all around. He's running around. He's trying to find Shindo and his group, who are taken hold up in a cave. And the American troops are moving in, and they're shooting the place up, and they're blowing up, just outside the cave there. The guys are afraid that they're going to get trapped in the cave. So they come out, and then a dinosaur appears.
I love the footsteps, how they sounded.
Yes.
Oh, used to think.
Well, that's kind of the way it was in the beginning of the original Godzilla too. On the island, when they hear the footsteps.
Yep.
And then he comes over the top of the mountain. Originally in the first Godzilla, he was supposed to come over the top of the mountain with a cow in his mouth.
Yep.
I think there's even a picture of that somewhere.
Yeah,
but they decided.
You get it on a storyboard, I want to say. Oh no.
Yeah. You might be right.
A storyboard or like a painting of some sorts, and the cow is hanging out of his mouth. Like it was supposedly pretty gruesome, and they cut it out.
Right. So it's just his head that pops up over the mountain, and then he goes away, and you hear the footsteps again going down the mountain.
Yep.
And then they look over the top of the mountain. It's just his footprints, and the tail going out to sea. Yep. So here he is. They're shooting at him. Nothing's, it's not really happening. He's pushing him to the beach. They're calling in for reinforcements. They shoot at him from the ship with the big heavy artillery, and it blows him up real good. Because he's a small dinosaur.
Yep.
So he goes down.
Not powerful. And if none of y'all know this, Godzillasaurus's roar might sound very, very familiar to a lot of people who like kaiju and whatnot, and that's because it is Gamera's roar.
Correct. There is some Gamera in there. It is. You're right. So, and I thought that was a weird choice for them because, in any case, I don't know if it was a nod or if it was just that, we're going to just do this.
Honestly, looking at Toho, I think they're just like, you know what, we're going to take this roar and...
I mean, because that kind of implies that Gamera might be a smaller dinosaur. So anyway, he gets back up again when they get too close, and he just wipes them out.
Yeah.
And the ship decides, let's just forget about this and just say it didn't happen.
Yep. Never happened. We don't know what you're talking about.
So it's another secret file, another X file. So the troop, Shindo's troop group, they surround the dinosaur who is still breathing, but he's obviously very wounded, and they salute him and say, "We hope that your wounds heal, and much luck to you. We're out of here."
That was a very sad scene, not for nothing, especially when the guy's just like standing there crying his eyes out, and the Godzillasaurus is like kind of moving, but he's definitely dying. I got choked up a little bit.
Well, and it probably helped that they got Akira Ifukube to do the music for this one again.
They asked him back.
He had not done the music for the last two movies, so they brought him back for this one.
Yep.
And the next 3.
Yes.
No. Godzilla versus Space Godzilla was somebody else, but he actually did 4 more in this series.
Yep.
So they salute him, and then they head out on their way. And of course, the whole time the travelers, the time travelers, are watching.
Yep.
There's Shindo. Now this actor here, I think I mentioned this before. Yoshio Tsuchiya. He was in a lot of the earlier Godzilla films. Starting with Godzilla Returns, the second one, which was in black and white. He plays a pilot, a very important pilot, maybe even a squadron leader. In that, he's I know he's in Monster Zero as the leader of the Exilians.
I don't remember his name. I'm even bad with raids against
and he's the scientist from Monster Island in Destroy All Monsters that throws himself out the window.
Yes.
So that they don't find that the aliens are controlling him, but then they do find it because he did that. So he's done a lot of Godzilla films.
Yes.
So it was nice that he was in this one. But he doesn't look very young there. Sorry.
Not as charming and handsome as he once was.
As he was in the earlier Godzilla films. So here we go. The time travelers are now ready to, now that they've gone, now we can work now. We can move Godzilla to the middle of the ocean where he won't be. And this is the weird part, is because most of that atomic bomb testing did happen in the ocean. So,
in the words of General Akbar, it's a trap.
Yeah. I mean, well, wait a minute. But he won't be part of the blast that turned him into Godzilla the first time.
Yes.
So okay, so they fire up the computers and in the little mini ship there, and the computer ray, the what the hell was it? The transporter ray. There we go. The transporter ray moves Godzilla. There's his, or Godzillasaurus. There's his graphic on the computer screen, the 3D graphic. God, I can't go to the fact that M11 has such a huge head. Anyway,
it is big.
This island Earth. He's got a this island Earth head.
It does.
So, okay, Godzilla's moved to the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
He's gone. But what they don't know is that Emmy has been told to leave the do-rats behind, the door rats, on the island.
Little cute, ugly bastards.
Because they can be controlled.
Into something enormous.
And that's what she does. Something, I'm sorry.
Something enormous.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I mean, the Godzillasaurus is already big. These things are really small.
For now.
But somehow, the mutation, yeah. Maybe they pumped them full of vitamins before they thrown them out the ship. I don't know.
Vitamin G for Ghidorah.
Because yes, they are going to mutate and become King Ghidorah. So the ship leaves. We're all done here.
God, that ship is so dumb looking. I hate it.
It looks like one of the spinners, those little spinners.
Exactly. And now that I'm realizing it, I hate how it looks. I used to thought it was cool when I was a kid, and now it's just dumb looking.
I've seen worse on Ultraman, believe me. I love what they used to do to cars on Ultraman to try to make them cool and hip, and it was just like, okay.
God, you gotta love it though. They were dedicated and very passionate to the cause, and the same thing with these films. They tried their best to make them very alienish. Sometimes it didn't work out properly, like that ship.
Alienish.
Alienish.
That's a great adjective. Alienish. Yeah, and these guys' suits, they're very alienish.
They're iron pressed and whatnot. Like, look, there's no wrinkles. There you go. In these suits.
We definitely love polyester in 2200.
Yes.
So they come back and they find out, now Godzilla's gone, but now there's King Ghidorah. And he's flying around, zapping everything, and they're controlling him.
Yep.
So again, they can destroy any country they want that they don't like. And it turns out that Japan has gotten too strong, or does get too strong in the future, and they're buying up other countries, and they decide they're going to take out Japan. So this was a big double cross from the very start.
Oh, yes.
So actually, the nice design of King Ghidorah. I like the King Ghidorah in this. I don't like his roar as much as I like the old Beady Beaties that he did back in the old days.
Really? See, I love this roar. I thought this roar was menacing, like hands down. Now there is a live shoot. So you'll notice.
I like the whistles. I like the Beady Beaties.
You'll notice there's no hair. There's no more mane.
Yes.
Now
he's a very clean King Ghidorah.
The heads were more sculpted with the inspiration of Manda and Destroy All Monsters.
Uh-huh.
Now you can kind of see it.
Well, it's funny you say that because Manda in the original film, A Dragon, that he was in, had horns like that on the side of his head and the back of his head.
Right.
But evidently, when they were looking for monster suits for Destroy All Monsters, those had either broken off or they decided to go with a smooth look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I have the Mando back here? I just got this.
Ooh.
This is a tough one to get. I've been looking for this for a while. So this is the original. This is the Manda from Destroy All Monsters.
Yes, sir.
And of course, he's just a giant snake with little legs. That's what he is. So, let me show you King Ghidorah that I have here. And this does look more like the King Ghidorah, the smooth King Ghidorah from 1991.
Yeah, it's a 91 figure. Yeah. Is that the newer? Is that like the most recent? Yeah, right? Yeah.
No, this says 1995.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bandai. So Mr. Shindo's not happy because he liked the dinosaur. He liked Godzilla, evidently. He doesn't like this monster. And this monster does a flyby on his building and zaps it. So he wants revenge. He's not happy.
No, he's not a happy camper.
But Kochenko is happy. Emmy is not happy. She's like, hey, you double-crossed my people. And you used me to do it. So she's not happy.
No, she's pissed. Never mess with a woman's school.
Ship-growing monsters is giving me a Power Ranger vibe. Thank you, Jonathan.
I could see that. I mean, same. Well, what? Rangers came out in 90-something?
Something around there, yeah. So Kenchiro's sitting back having a brew, and Emmy decides to pay him a visit. Say, look, I'm sorry, we double-crossed. I didn't know that they were going to do that. And, of course, M11 is following her and watching.
Peeping Tom.
Yeah. I love he's got the Terminator shades on in this one now.
This was the biggest ripoff of Terminator right here. Like, God, Asylum Films couldn't even make a better ripoff than this.
Android. So, yeah, King Ghidorah's, I think this is where he's fighting with the jets, maybe. He's causing more mayhem and destruction, and you know they've made their ultimatum to the. There's a better shot of the minister. Actually, also in this film, as a the flight chief, the head of the Japanese Air Force in this is the Susumu Kurobi, who was actually the first Ultraman. But you very rarely see him. It's very fleeting. I mean, he's in the back of shots, and he's running around. And I think I've got one shot in the timeline here that has him in it, and I'll try to point him out when I see it. But that's the prime minister there, and they go to Shindo saying, "Hey, do you have any subs that we can put nuclear weapons on?" He goes, "I've got better. I've got a sub with nuclear weapons on it." And they're going to run that into Godzilla. They're going to find Godzilla under the ocean, run that into him, and turn him into another Godzilla. But this one's going to be a nuclear Godzilla.
we can make him stronger.
The reasoning here, not quite sure. Because he might take care of King Ghidorah, but then we've got this badass nuclear Godzilla on our backyard. Sagusa Miki senses him. She says, "Oh, I think he's in this part of the ocean," and she helps to kind of guide them with the sub to get to Godzilla. And they're driving around in Chiro's Jeep, and there's M11, and he's trying to stop him. He wants to take her back to the ship because she's a problem now. She's gone rogue.
It has deflected.
Yeah. So, evidently, Kenshiro is a better driver than a computerized robot because they caused the robot's car to flip over.
Smashing into some empty boxes.
And they actually smash through some empty boxes with the Jeep, yeah, which is kind of weird. And they come out okay.
They're fine. It's a Jeep. It's all right.
That's what the screenwriter said. He his car blows up and he's in it and he pulls off his arm and he chases after him. I love this scene. This is my favorite scene of the robot scenes.
It's great.
Of the Android scenes.
Great soundtrack. I mean, honestly,
he just chases right after him.
Beautiful. It's such a beautiful score.
And, his face is half burned up like the Terminator, and his arm is showing robot parts, his shoulder. And he stops their car.
They would get sued.
and he takes her back to the ship.
Rips up the door, lifts the car up. It's like,
Yep. So Wilson is not happy. You were talking to him again, weren't you? So he's like, you're grounded.
Go to your room.
So what does she do? She reprograms the robot so he's working for her. Smart girl. He even calls her boss. Yes, boss.
Yes, boss.
I love that. They call big monsters in games bosses. I don't know what that is all about, but anyway, she is his boss now.
Yes.
So, and then the tables are really turned because they got the rule.
Did I cut out?
Somehow, somewhere, and it kind of helped him because he looks like a kind of a more modern Godzilla. There, he doesn't look like the Godzillasaurus. So, anyway, the sub runs into him, disappears, and out comes Godzilla. He mutated fast this time. Nuclear mutations happen much faster.
Well,
ooh, he looks dangerous. He looks terrible.
Now, a really cool thing about this suit. So this suit weighed 272 pounds.
Really?
That's a heavy suit, yes.
Yeah, that's not when it's logged with water, which is the case here.
I think with this one was more animatronic.
Oh, okay.
I remember. Well, it might have been. I'm not sure exactly. There's a couple of times where they are in the water, but there is a time where it's just the upper half of him and just like controlling it.
Hypernuclear mutation. Yep. That's what it is. So, here's where King Ghidorah is fighting the Jets. Showing them the awesome speed and power and agility of King Ghidorah.
Another great thing was Ghidorah's gravity beams were supposed to be different colors. Each head was supposed to have a different color.
Oh. I like these beams as opposed to the old ones. I like the animation style of them. They seem more spread out after they leave the mouth, which is cool. And when Mecha-King Ghidorah comes out later, there is, I call it the 3D beam because it's like a Christmas beam. It's got like a green and a red, a multicolored beam coming out of that central head.
You are right. It does.
So I call it the 3D beam.
I love it.
Or the Christmas beam, whatever time of the year, you know.
The Jingle Bell beam.
I like that even better. So this is a great match shot here with the cows in the foreground. Godzilla's heading across the countryside, and he's looking very gnarly, very angry. And they realize it. They're like, "Oh, this is not our old Godzilla."
Like, oh, we're fucked.
Basically, not in so many words. And Wilson's a badass. Tell King Ghidorah to kill Godzilla.
That's good. Oh man, it's beautiful.
So, he goes after Godzilla. He goes right to where Godzilla is. It's a nice field out there somewhere. Again, they saved a lot of money in these movies later by having some of the fights on like Monster Island, where they could just use vegetation instead of buildings.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with this first scene where they fight. They did an outdoor scene. They have a very impressive set that's destroyed for Tokyo at the end of the movie, though.
Yeah.
With very tall buildings. Probably a lot of them left over from Godzilla 1985. So there is the beam coming out again. And again, the heads are really nasty looking compared to what King Ghidorah was before. I when you said no hair, that never struck me until you just said that now. And I kind of like the little bit of hair on the side of the face. But anyway.
You know, it's kind of a pick or choose. It's cute. I mean,
It's cute.
King of the Monsters was supposed to have the hair. They were first, gonna bring back the mane, and it was switched. And it was like, you know what? No, we're gonna leave it off. I mean, it's cool. It's doofy and cute, but when you have the Heisei King Ghidorah, you can't have the mane. No.
Yeah, well, I think every King Ghidorah, now that you mentioned it, I think every one of them after this did not have any hair around the neck or on the top of the head. So, okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, it didn't.
Because they brought him in for a couple of they had different versions of King Ghidorah for the Mothra films that came after this. They decided to go away from Godzilla and start doing Mothra films. They did 3 of them.
Yeah, there was Death Ghidorah and Grand King Ghidorah.
Yeah. So, and those looked badass. I mean, they were nice versions of King Ghidorah. I mean, different.
Unbelievable.
So, all right. So Godzilla's using his breath now, and again that from the ground up, he brings it up from your feet on up to the middle of your body.
Oh yes.
And King Ghidorah showing its power.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla barely blinks though.
It's like,
bitch, please. I love the head on this Godzilla too. I really do. Just a nice, expressive, interesting head, and the lack of expression there is kind of funny. So Ghidorah coming in for the kill. Again, I wanted to show lots of pictures from that fight, and our hero team has gone onto the spaceship, and they're planting bombs to take out King Ghidorah's control panel, and they take it out.
Yeah.
And now King Ghidorah doesn't know what to do. He's not following orders. So Godzilla picks him up by the tail. This is a famous old Godzilla move from the Showa series. Picks him up by the two tails and proceeds to whomp him into the ground a couple of times.
Just annihilate him.
Just knock the wind out of him completely before he gives him the death kill.
He's hurt, you bitch.
So he picks him up in the air, whomp, back down to the ground. And actually, King Ghidorah, I think, gets a hit in on him, and his head hits the ground at one point. Hits a rock, I think, here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it dazes him a little bit. And again, they're going back and forth with the action inside the ship. Look at that nice toy space laser rifle. You can bet they were selling those in the stores back in 1992.
I was just thinking about it. I was just like, I wonder if they actually marketed those guns for kids.
Oh, I bet. I'm banking on it. Anybody got one of those?
Right. If someone has it, please post it on eBay. I would like to buy it from you for $5.
So, okay. So, they're saying, even if you kill King Ghidorah, Godzilla will take out Japan just as easily. And we have a 20-minute timer that's going to take us back to the future. You can't destroy this ship. They're so sure of themselves. So they beat their ass anyway, which I love. They kick them in the balls and, knock them out. And again, the computer is telling them, they got 20 minutes. There it is. 15 minutes now. So, and the countdown is on. We got to get back to the ship now. We got to get back to the baby ship, the little one. So they knew. They run through the ship that's falling apart and blowing up. And again, before it destroys itself, these guys are going to go back to the future. That's what they're saying.
Yes.
And they'll be able to be stopped. It'll be able to be stopped, and they'll be able to be free, and they can tell them that their mission was a success. And Emmy's like, no, you can't let them do that. We have to destroy them somehow.
Did you do the voiceovers for these of the American dub? Because your voice is so
no, but George Takei did.
Seriously, your voice is so on point. I'm just like, wait, did he do this overdubbing?
I watched a lot of anime and a lot of these movies.
Love it. Dude, really, honestly, like,
King Ghidorah is so powerful. Oh my God, look at him.
very impressive. Honestly, like very impressive, man.
Thank you. If you ever need me to do that, just call me. I do kids parties. Yeah, King Ghidorah gets an upper hand, wraps one of his necks around Godzilla's neck, squeezing it, and he's biting different parts of Godzilla's body. And they're making their way to the ship. 9 minutes left now. Gotta hurry. We're at 51 minutes. They get back to the ship. Emmy is so vengeful here. You know, hell hath no fury like a future woman scorned.
Damn right.
So she tells M11, why don't we transport the ship right next to Godzilla and King Ghidorah where they're fighting? And they'll probably destroy it. Good idea.
Smart.
Now Godzilla and they start to do that. The little ship moves out. The transfer beam starts up, kicks into high gear. Okay, now Godzilla uses a move here that I've never seen him use. Now, just like an energy beam comes out of his body and blows Ghidorah away from him.
So
and
we
actually blows the middle head right off of his body.
We call that the nuclear pulse.
The nuclear pulse. Where else has he used that?
He did mainly. It's this. God, I know he used it in Godzilla versus Destroyer.
Okay.
And that's more towards the end when he goes thermo.
Okay.
They bring it back then. I think maybe in Space Godzilla.
Okay. So
but
just the Hysis series.
Well, then you could also consider it being used in King of the Monsters.
Okay.
Now, see, I call that the Mothra pulse. That's what I called it.
Okay.
In that movie, because it's kind of same thing. But yeah, mainly just in the Heisei series, they never brought it back.
Okay.
Wasn't done in the Millennium. You can use it in the video game, and that was it. And then in this, when Godzilla blows his head off, real quick, kind of a nice insider tip that I learned. It was supposed to be blood, but they changed it to golden blood so that it wouldn't scare off the kids.
Okay. So there's the spaceship coming in where Godzilla is at. They've moved it. They're happy about it. Look at Emmy, so happy. We're taking them down.
I call it flatulence. Thanks, Bob.
Flatulence.
Appreciate it.
Godzilla uses giant nuclear fart. Where's my button? Take that, Ghidorah. King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah. Okay, so it shows up right there next to Godzilla, and ironically, they wake up just in time to open the window. Now it's daytime here, and you see around Godzilla that it's daytime. But I'm pointing this out because later on, there's another scene like this, and it's daytime out, but for some reason there's like a night sky behind Godzilla for the close up. Anyway, so he zaps him. He's like, "What's this?"
I like he's smiling in this one. He's like really happy, right? He's like, "Yay!"
That's a happy Godzilla right there. Okay. So 55 minutes now. Ghidorah tries to get away, and of course Godzilla zaps him real good, zaps the wing so that he can't fly, and he falls into the ocean.
Love that atomic breath.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, he's got good atomic breath in this. Or nuclear breath. In this. So there's the wing all zapped and fried, and he goes into the drink. Can't stay up.
Which was also seen in King.
Sorry.
That was also seen in King of the Monsters with the hole in the wing, but Ghidorah was just able to heal it quickly.
Yeah, he had regenerative powers.
Yeah.
In that. So, okay.
Because they didn't want to make a Mecha-King Ghidorah and King of the Monsters. Don't know why. Missed opportunity.
There we go. So, well, they probably didn't pay for the other monster. You know, you gotta pay big money for those.
Yes,
for those kaiju. For those kaijus. So, all right. So in the drink he goes, and now they got a new problem. Godzilla. He's meaner and bigger and badder than he ever was before, and he's nuclear. And he's heading towards Tokyo. So, and here, here is the different theories of where Godzilla could go, you know, and he's just out to destroy everything. So they're like, what the hell are we gonna do? There's in every Godzilla movie, you have to have him up against the Japanese military. You know the Japanese military is going to lose, but there it is. So, and this is that scene.
Yeah.
And they pull out the masers.
Nah, the good old maser tanks. The best.
Yeah, they use the maser tanks in this, which I love.
Yes.
Big fan of the maser tanks. The big tower there, this is Hokkaido, I believe. Big tower there, and the masers move in. Love that shot.
Great shot. That's solid right there.
Godzilla's eyes are glowing, reflecting the fire. And the masers shoot him, pisses him off, and he destroys them.
Goodbye.
Easy peasy, Chinesey. There they go.
Japanesey?
Japanesey. There you go. Okay, so Amy says, look what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the future. I'm going to get King Ghidorah. I'm going to repair him. I'm going to bring him back, and I'm going to beat Godzilla. So, and they're like, well, Godzilla beat him the first time. No, they didn't say that. So she goes to the future, yes, and she talks to whoever's in charge there and says, this is King Ghidorah. We need to pull him to save Japan. And he's like, well, I don't know. And then M11's like, well, this is a good idea. And he goes, oh, okay. And he lets her do it. But Godzilla is, there she is, very happy that he's agreed finally to do it. And there's M11 in the background. Godzilla is heading towards Shindo's building in Tokyo. And the Shindo calls and says, hey, I'm about to see Godzilla, so don't worry about me.
About to meet my maker.
And they're like, well, wait a minute. So, okay, there's a night shot behind Godzilla in this. I don't know why, because it's daytime. And to make things worse, they keep going back and forth between Shindo and Godzilla. See how dark it is around Godzilla there? and the lights coming in the window, and then they do a flashback to the island where he's Godzillasaurus and he's getting a salute, and then he vaporizes him and his dinosaur collectibles there next to the window.
A very controversial scene too.
They all get vaporized.
Very controversial.
Why is that?
Well, because they didn't it's never explained what was he thinking while facing Godzilla. Most people were thinking, well, he thought Godzilla would not kill him because of what he did. And then there's the other side of the spectrum that says, yeah, I'm gonna die. Okay, fine.
That's the way I feel. I feel like he's had a long life, and everything that he got because Godzilla saved him back in 1944.
Yeah.
And he's accepting it. You know, and Godzilla tears the building down.
That's how I felt.
Yeah. So that's my feeling. I mean, just from the look, the way he expresses himself towards Godzilla, he could have run.
Yeah, he could have. No, I'm staying right here with my homie. Click.
So, okay. So, nice shot of the foot there, and Godzilla's destroying things, and he's moving through the city. And again, it's daytime again. And King Ghidorah shows up. Mecha-King Ghidorah.
Up in the sky, what?
Comes back from the future.
Great entrance, by the way. Great entrance. I loved it.
It's homage to the original Ghidorah entrance from 1964, and yet, there's something technical kind of about it, with the beams shooting straight out from his body, and I love it too. It's a great entrance. And then you get Mecha-King Ghidorah.
Behold the pale horse.
So yes. So the middle head is a robotic head, and the wings are robotic. And the main chassis contains the control room up at the top. So yeah, there it is. Pretty key. And they're very happy that Emmy came back. They would have been happier if she had came back before Shindo got killed, but I mean, she's got control of space and time.
Good job, Emmy. You're late.
Couldn't you come back 10 minutes sooner? You're going to save Shindo. So Ghidorah's flying around, a lot of nice little flying shots there, and then lands right in front of Godzilla to show him, I'm badass now. You better not mess with me. And there's the control room. And Emmy,
Little
yeah,
back in the middle, just chilling there.
This control room is very sparse, by the way. It's like it's like the airplane cockpit from Plan 9 from Outer Space. There's really not a lot going on in the background.
No, nothing at all.
So zapping with the different colored beams, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
and again, look how tall the buildings are there.
Oh, massive.
Yeah, they tower over Godzilla, which is impressive. Couldn't do that back in the 60s.
No.
And then there's the Christmas beam, the Jingle Bell beam.
Jingle Bell beam. Oh my God, so good.
And that lovely center head.
Oh, beautiful.
Now they use that head to create Mecha-Godzilla 2 pictures later than this.
Mm-hmm.
They use the head and its technology to build a Mecha-Godzilla to defeat Godzilla in 1993.
Yes.
It was, 2 years later. They were doing 1 picture a year with these.
Yeah.
Heisei. So they're zapping at each other, and Godzilla gets a really good zap in on King Ghidorah. Mecha-King Ghidorah.
And then Ghidorah pulls out the stunts.
And Emmy's knocked out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Mecha-King Ghidorah's on his back. Emmy's knocked out. The robot is just kind of a control panel.
On his back.
Emmy, you need to wake up, Emmy.
And she does. Oh my goodness, Godzilla's coming upon me.
And she's got these great handles, yellow-red handles that she pulls at the inside of that control room that does all kinds of really interesting things. And some clamps come out around Godzilla's feet and his arms and electrocute him, kind of tase him so that he can't move, which I liked. That was a nice thing. And then a big clamp comes out from the middle of King Ghidorah, Mecha-King Ghidorah, to go around Godzilla's midsection. And again, they're kind of tasing him so he doesn't really move all that much, which is good. And then up and away.
Yeah.
Takes him away. Over the ocean.
And that's where they go to stay.
And those are Bandai figures.
Oh, look, I got Godzilla.
So she's got him over the ocean. He's actually starting to claw at what has gotten around him here.
Yeah.
So and then of course he uses the nuclear breath.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's clawing at the thing around his midsection there.
Like, come on, get off! I'm not that fat. Leave me alone.
Now, again, if the current were still pumping into him and keeping him immobile, so to speak, that would have been an adequate end to Godzilla. But basically, they both just drop into the sea, and then she hauls ass in the little ship.
Yeah. The writers were like, well,
yeah.
I got nothing.
No, we've dropped him in the ocean. It's okay.
We're just gonna do that. Simple. Let's call it a day, boys. We're out for donuts.
No, we dropped him in the ocean. No, it's cool. It's okay. So down they go. Godzilla zaps Mecha-King Ghidorah one last time. In the next slide. There he is. And then they both go down into the drink, which is how most of these things ends. The monster goes into the water. That's it. End of movie.
Yeah, that's really it. Like, it's a science.
So down they go.
Whee!
Kersplash. And they're worried about Emmy for a little bit, and then all of a sudden the little spaceship comes up out of the. So evidently that thing was in Mecha-King Ghidorah somewhere, maybe up his ass. I don't know.
Quickly, I must get to the anus so that I can get to the spaceship and get out.
And then at this point in time, she tells Kenshiro,
"Oh, by the way, I know you were interested in me. You thought I was hot, but I'm actually one of your ancestors."
I didn't know that. Really?
Yes. Yeah, she told him she's one of his ancestors. So, and right after she told him that, the girl that was actually leaving messages on his answering machine saying, "And will you marry me?" It's like his publisher or whatever. She shows up. And he puts his arm around her and he smiles like, "Okay, everything's okay now." So that's how they got out of that one before it got too creepy.
That's so good. Oh, wow.
There it is.
Again, huh? And there it is.
There it is. So she just shows up out of nowhere. She knows he's there. And again, she's a stalker.
Oh,
so
hey.
There it is. So Emmy goes off into the future. And then Godzilla, we go to the camera that shows Godzilla under the water. For some reason, he's unconscious. Not sure why, because they just dropped him in the water, which he's an aquatic creature. Swims very well in the water. And then, of course, he wakes up. His eyes pop open.
There it is.
There it is. And big bubble Godzilla nuclear, whatever it is.
Whatever.
To show that he's angry.
Yep. He's like, "Nah, I'm not done yet, bitches. Let's go."
So okay, so that's it, cadets. It was a long timeline. It was about 160 slides. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff in there. So I definitely wanted to give it its due. Thank you again, United Godzilla. He's not in his car anymore.
Yeah,
it's very dark.
I'm just parked, so I'm safe right now. I'm good. I'm home.
Well, there you go. Very good. So thank you again for joining us, John. I know your name is John. And we'll hope that you'll come back for Destroy All Monsters in a couple of weeks.
Hey,
we're going to be doing that one in the very near future.
I will be honored to come back as always, General.
Very good. Cadets, thank you for joining us. Thursday, we will be doing A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. We're going to talk about Freddy Krueger, so that should be an interesting show as well. And now we have something from our sponsors. Thanks again, United Godzilla fans. Thank you, Major Hazard, for everything you do for us. And let's go to that.
Adios, guys.
Let's go to that commercial.